In the quiet village of Umudim, where the sun painted the red earth gold every morning, lived Nneka, a young black girl with dreams louder than the crickets at night. Each day, after helping her grandmother roast plantains by the roadside, Nneka would sit under the tall iroko tree at the edge of the village. It was where her father told stories before he passed stories of warriors, wisdom, and gods who walked the earth. One evening, while the sky turned orange and goats bleated in the distance, Cheek, a quiet boy from across the stream, came and sat beside her. He brought a broken wooden flute he carved himself. He played a shaky tune, and Nneka laughed. "You need more practice," she teased. "And you need to dream less and do more," he replied with a smile. That night, they made a promise to one day build a small school under the iroko tree, so children in Umudim wouldn't have to travel far like they did. Years later, that promise stood tall just like the iroko strong, rooted and full of stories. The village of Umudim was waking. Smoke curled from tiny cooking fires, and the air smelled of wood, earth, and roasted yam. Nneka, age 18, sat beside her grandmother at a roadside stall, fanning flames under grilled plantains. "Keep the fire strong," Mama Ifeoma said. Nneka nodded, her eyes wandering beyond the road to the old iroko tree standing like a silent elder at the edge of the village. That tree held memories, of stories her father once told, of dreams too big for small villages. "Mama," Nneka whispered, "one day I'll do something here, something great." Her grandmother smiled without looking up. "Just don't burn the plantains first." After the morning chores, Nneka slipped away with her notebook. The iroko tree stood alone near the old footpath, its roots deep, its branches wide, like the arms of an ancient giant. She sat beneath it, tracing her fingers over her father's faded handwriting. Each page held folk tales and lessons he taught her before. He passed tales of thunder gods, clever tortoises, and brave girls. The breeze stirred the branches, birds chirped. It was her favorite place. Peaceful, secret. Then came a sound. Off-key notes from a wooden flute. She turned. A boy barefoot, tall, shy was, playing near the stream. It was Chaik. "You scared me," Chaik said, clutching his flute. Nneka grinned. "You scared the birds with that sound." He laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. "It's not easy to carve one that plays right." They sat under the iroko, feet dusted with red soil. "I want to build a school here," Nneka said suddenly, "so children don't walk far, and to teach the stories my papa told me." Chaik looked at her, eyes wide. "A real school?" She nodded. "Right under this tree." He glanced at the iroko, then at his flute. "Then I'll play the morning anthem." For a moment, they just smiled. Word traveled fast in Umudim. By the next week, Obina the storyteller had heard about Nneka's idea. "A school under the iroko?" He chuckled to the elders. "That child dreams in daylight." Some laughed, others scoffed. But one old woman said, "Wasn't it a dreamer who first brought light to this village?" Meanwhile, Nneka and Chaik kept returning each day. They drew shapes in the sand-mud walls, bamboo chairs, a tiny chalkboard. It was rough, childish, imperfect, but it was real. And the iroko watched, silently. The next morning, Chaik came running, a basket on his head. "I brought clay," he said proudly. They mixed it with water near the stream, shaping it into little bricks, just like the masons did during house buildings. By midday, their hands were caked in red mud. They stacked their handmade bricks at the base of the iroko. "This is the foundation," Nneka whispered. "Even if it's pretend," Chaik added, smiling. "It's not pretend," she said. "It's a beginning." And it was that evening, as the sun dipped low, Obina the storyteller hobbled toward the iroko. Nneka and Chaik froze when they saw him. He leaned on his carved stick, eyeing their muddy bricks and drawings in the sand. "You two think you're building a school?" Nneka stood tall. "Yes, we are." Obina chuckled. "And who will teach?" "I will," she replied firmly. He nodded slowly. "Then you need stories, real ones. Come tomorrow, I'll start teaching you." And just like that, the first teacher joined the dream. The next day, Nneka and Chaik sat cross-legged beneath the iroko, notebooks ready. Obina arrived slowly, but his voice was strong. He told of Allah, the earth goddess, and Ezenwa, the blind hunter who listened with his heart. He wove tales of courage, honesty, and the importance of learning. Nneka wrote furiously, her eyes wide with wonder. These stories, Obina said, tapping his chest, are not just for remembering. They are tools. Teach them well. The iroko's leaves rustled above, as if echoing his words. News of the children's effort reached Ikena, the village carpenter's son. He approached them shyly one afternoon, holding a bundle of bamboo sticks. "My father has scraps. We can use these for benches," he said. Chaik's eyes lit up. "Really? I'll ask him to help if he agrees." Nneka clapped her hands. This school is growing. They arranged the bamboo in rows under the iroko tree, imagining pupils seated and learning stories of gods and ancestors. The school didn't have walls, but it had spirit. One morning, as the rooster crowed, tiny footsteps approached the iroko. 3 younger children arrived barefoot, curious, carrying slates and chalk. "Is this the new school?" one girl asked. Chaik looked at Nneka, unsure. Nneka nodded, heart pounding. "Yes, sit. You're just in time for a story." She took a deep breath, opened her father's notebook, and began. The children listened with wide eyes as the tale of the tortoise and the leopard came alive beneath the branches. And just like that, class had begun. That afternoon, the whispers returned. "She's teaching now? Under a tree? Children should be fetching water, not playing school." Some adults frowned. Others only shook their heads. But elder Mama Ebele, the village midwife, watched from her stool with interest. "She is doing what no one else dared," she murmured. That evening she visited Nneka under the iroko, offering her a small box. Inside, old chalk, a ruler, and a bell. "Teach them well," she said softly. Nneka held the bell like a sacred gift. The next morning, just as the village stirred awake, a clear bell rang through Umudim. Children paused. Chickens scattered. Women looked up from their cooking pots. Nneka stood under the iroko, ringing it with pride. One by one, children gathered, giggling and whispering. Chaik arranged the bamboo benches, while Nneka wrote the day's story title on a slate. The drummer who danced with spirits. From the path, Ikena's father, the real carpenter, stood watching. Then, with a soft grunt, he walked back home perhaps, thinking of benches yet to build. 2 days later, as Nneka taught a lesson on animal sounds, a rumble came from the road. Ikena's father arrived, pushing a wooden cart. In it, 3 small benches, smooth and freshly built. No words, just a nod. He set them down under the iroko and left. The children cheered. Chaik ran his fingers across the polished wood. "Real benches," he whispered. Nneka stood behind them, speechless, her eyes stinging with pride. The school was no longer a dream. It was becoming a place. The sun was high and the children restless. Their small bellies rumbled louder than the lessons. Just as Nneka was about to end class early, Mama Nkechi, a corn seller, arrived with a tray balanced on her head. She lowered it gently, revealing roasted maize wrapped in banana leaves. "For the little learners," she smiled, handing each child a warm cob. Nneka whispered, "Thank you." The woman winked. A hungry brain cannot listen. That day, the children learned about sharing not from a story, but from kindness. Later that week, the village square filled with murmurs and clapping hands. The chief had called a meeting under the big mango tree. People gathered, farmers, mothers, elder 7, curious children. Obina the storyteller stood and spoke. "There is a school growing beneath the iroko tree knot, one built with cement, but with heart." Some nodded, others whispered. Then Mama Ebele rose. "If we plant yams with care, we harvest. Let us water this one." The chief scratched his beard, thoughtful. "I will visit it myself," he said. The crowd fell silent. The next morning, the children were mid-lesson when drums echoed from the village path. Nneka turned and froze. The chief, dressed in regal agbada, approached with 2 guards behind him. He smiled, seeing her seed planted firmly. "May it grow taller than this tree." He handed her a wrapped scroll official recognition from the elders. Nneka held it close. The dream had just become real. A few days later, just before class, Mazi Udo, the village tailor, arrived under the iroko. He carried a folded piece of fabric. "I heard about your chief's honor," he said to Nneka. "Every real teacher needs a proper uniform." He unfolded a beautiful blue and white Ankara dress, stitched with care. "For you," he said, "from Umudim." Nneka's hands trembled as she held it. Thank you, I'll wear it tomorrow. Around her, the children clapped, and even Chike grinned. The village was no longer watching it, was building. The following week, a chalk sign hung on a bamboo stick beside the tree. Iroko Learning Place. Free School of Umudim. Villagers gathered for a small naming ceremony. Mama Ifioma brought kola nuts. Ikena's father built a small table. Mama Nikechi roasted more maize. Nneka, in her new uniform, stood before the crowd, ringing her bell. We named this place not just for learning, she said, but for hope. Cheers filled the air. Even the iroko seemed to rustle in approval. That day, the dream had a name. One afternoon, the skies darkened. Thunder cracked and rain fell in sheets. Children scattered, grabbing slates and books. Nneka rushed to cover the story scrolls with a calabash. The iroko offered some shelter, but water still soaked the clay bricks and benches. By evening, the school looked bruised, muddy, broken, and empty. Nneka sat alone under the tree, tears mixing with the rain. Then came a quiet voice. "We can fix it," said Chike, holding his flute, wet but unbroken. And beside him, one by one, the children returned with hands, smiles, and buckets. The next day, the entire village showed up. Mothers brought woven mats. Fathers brought thatch for roofing. Youths carried wood and dug drainage paths. The Iroko Learning Place rose again stronger, wider, now with a small palm frond roof and stone seats. Nneka stood at the front, heart full. She saw the carpenter fixing a bench, Mama Nikechi serving maize, Obina retelling old stories to younger children. Even the chief came again, just to sit and watch. This wasn't just a school anymore. It had become a village heart. Years passed. Under the same iroko tree, a new group of children now sat, listening as a young teacher read from a familiar notebook. But it wasn't Nneka anymore, it was Chike. He played the morning anthem with his flute before every lesson, just like he promised. Above them, a sign carved in wood hung proudly. Iroko Learning Place, founded by Nneka Ifeoma. Nneka had left for the city to become a certified teacher, but her roots, like the Irokos, ran deep, and under its shade, her dream would live on generation to generation.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment to my YouTube channel. Thank you.